Hello food fans, we're going to have a feast today. This is a feast of pork and beans. In this case, this is Van Camp's pork and beans. And we're going to probably have to add a few things to this can of pork and beans to make it into something that is a feast, but probably we will still stay under $3 for the entire meal, and it's going to be good. So let's get started. We are going to start everything with a bit of sliced potatoes that we're going to be frying, and this potato cost about 25 cents, and I'm using about half of it, so 13 cents sitting there before our very eyes. And we had 75 cents with a can of pork and beans. I will be using a tomato. Tomato's about a quarter. Now I've opened the can of pork and beans. We're going to take a look at it and see exactly how much pork is in this can of pork and beans, and I shall lift the lid and we'll take a look. Now we can see there's no pork visible floating on top like what used to be the case. That is a bean right there, I believe. That's a bean. It used to be when you bought pork and beans, there would be some pork. Mostly fat pork floating on top, but that's not the case now. So we have to enhance this can of pork and beans by adding a little bit more pork. And we're going to add, instead of the fat type of pork, we're going to add lean pork to it. And I will add some ham. This is 8 ounces, by the way. I'm only going to use about 2 ounces at the most. Ham slices, all curled up there. I will cut that up, add it to the can of pork and beans, and put it in with the potatoes, which have already fried up pretty nicely. And slide over here. We have the ham in the pan. We're going to have a one-pan meal. And let that cook for a little bit. Now that the beans are cooking and pork has been added to them in the form of ham, and the potatoes have cooked up very well, I'm going to add a secret ingredient here, Morningstar Farms. The vegetarian bacon. I'm going to take one strip of the bacon. There are 2 in there, or one? There's 2 in there, and I'm going to get one of them. I'm going to make a bacon and tomato sandwich that'll be part of the secret ingredients. There we have the beans, potatoes, and the extra pork, and the bacon and tomato sandwich with no bacon. It has the fake vegetarian bacon that I like very much from Morningstar. And I put some mustard and relish on that, and we are ready to eat. This does look good, and parents, be sure to keep the kids away from the stove and the microwave. They do get hot, and they could be harmful if anyone gets too close to them. Taste a little bit of the pork and beans with extra pork added. And still a low price meal. Begin with pork and beans. Tastes like good old-fashioned pork and beans. Get some potatoes here with it. Fried potatoes taste good. And potatoes are a very low-priced meal. They can be components to various meals. You can buy a 10-pound bag of potatoes quite often for $2.99, 30 cents a pound. And try some of my bacon and tomato sandwich. with the vegetarian strips here. Don't know who invented that, but bacon and tomato sandwiches are good. And the vegetarian strips, the Morningstar that I get at Kroger, taste very, very good, better than the real bacon, I think. I'm so fortunate. We'll talk a little bit about show business, the entertainment world. But first, how does root beer go with bacon and tomato sandwiches and pork and beans? Root beer goes good with bacon and tomato sandwiches and pork and beans. And this probably has some wholesome nutritional qualities. I do not know, I'm not a doctor. Although I've played one on TV. I was a doctor in Pavarotti's movie, Yes, Giorgio. I've also been a doctor in St. Elsewhere. That was a TV series years ago. I was a doctor on Quincy. I've been a doctor several times in movies and TV shows. Bacon and tomato sandwich, this is on whole wheat bread. This is all good. Tasting, anyway. Some of the things that I did right that helped me with my show business career. Number one, I stayed healthy. Most people of my generation smoked. I did not smoke. I was too cheap to smoke. Having bad health could stop a career no matter how much talent you've got. Stay healthy. In addition, I moved from comfort zones to uncertainties when it seemed like the right thing to do. I left Louisville, Kentucky. I was doing all right. I had a job, living at home, 17 years old. I was getting by and I had money left over at the end of the week. And I just gave it up and moved to Los Angeles, 1956. I was not a big success right away. I did one show in 1957, a show called Make Believe Ballroom with Al Jarvis. I was not good. I was a stand-up comic. I was adequate, got through the show all right. And in 1960, I decided to leave Los Angeles, comfort zone, had a good job. I moved to New York City. I did not know anyone in Los Angeles when I first moved to Los Angeles, and I did not know anyone in New York City when I first moved to New York City. Well, the only time I moved to New York City. Lived there from 1 year, 1960 until 1961. We still have a secret ingredient coming up. Some of my bacon and tomato sandwich. Worked in a warehouse in New York City. I always was stable. I had, my financial situation was always good. I didn't try to rely on my talent. I didn't have enough talent to rely on. But I went to a couple of auditions in New York City, but I didn't actually go in and do the audition. I just went there, looked around, saw what they were doing, heard the conversations. I realized it was not for me. I did not want to be a stage actor. As Peter O'Toole said, I'm not an actor, I'm a movie star. Some more potatoes. Show business is changing, though. After a year in New York, I moved to Las Vegas. Of course, I didn't know anyone in Las Vegas. Got a job, remained stable, and got myself into radio. Started working at radio stations on the weekends. Had a good regular job during the week. Started up a record company. And eventually started working as a movie extra. Time for root beer. 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 Root beer is a great tasting beverage for a feast. Lots of pork in the pork and beans. And when I did get to where I was working as a movie extra, I was in the Screen Extras Guild, I was in AFTRA, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, I moved back to Los Angeles. And I had quite a bit of good things to help me this time. I was in a couple of unions, especially Screen Extras Guild, and I started working in Los Angeles, and I started working pretty regularly as a screen extra, movie extra, and in fact I was working enough during the week on movies and TV shows and commercials that I did not need a regular job. In the 1980s, I stayed busy as an extra, and late in the 1980s, I got to be a cast member of the TV series Dear John. I was very fortunate. And part of my good fortune was my good health. What I will do is show you the secret dessert. I will eat this a little later, but we'll make the video a little bit shorter. I'll bring the dessert in right now. It's on sale at Kroger. $2.99, $3. This is angel food cake, and I could take 1/4 of it, but what I'm going to do is take 1/8 of it. And I could put ice cream on it, except I don't have ice cream. I could also put cake icing on it. I could also add a dessert cup, the 22-cent chocolate pudding, or butterscotch pudding. Now let me be careful here. Kids, don't play with the knife at home. Parents, instruct your children there. That's good. Angel food cake. It's one of my favorite kinds of cake. It does not need an icing, but you can put an icing on it if you want to. Get this. This is the best way to end a feast, with dessert. Angel food cake. One more taste of the root beer. That is delicious. I will finish the angel food cake, and then I will finish the rest of the pork and beans bacon and tomato sandwich feast. Thank you for watching.